Are we talking about a stuffed giraffe or a stuffed giraffe? Would you buy a used car from this guy? Wait, what? For March 11th, 2016, from the stylish high-tech underground studios of Ribbit Media in tentatively spring-like Cranston, Rhode Island, this is NewsUndies. For March 11th, 2016, this is NewsUndies, all the news that shouldn't be news. I'm Paul Torville with these headlines. Apparently, Iran has developed and tested a ballistic missile capable of reaching Israel. Lest we forget that America's space program was launched atop ICBMs and scavenged all kinds of hardware developed for military applications. Of course, the Islamic Republic of Iran has little demonstrated interest in science except to the extent that it can further their military objectives. And that's awesome! Margaret Ellen Bradford, a Bernie Sanders supporter, attended a rally in Barberton, Ohio. She had brought her young daughter along, and according to Bradford, her daughter got hungry, as babies do. So she flopped out her breast and began nursing her daughter. Like you do, apparently. And then she heard something she enthusiastically agreed with, and stood yelling with her daughter latched on. Well, somebody snapped a picture and the interwebs melted down. Love mail, hate mail, appearances on CNN because lady feeds her kid. Detectives in Wandsworth, that's in England, are asking for the public's help in trying to recover 18 stuffed animals which have been stolen from a taxidermy warehouse. The animals, including lions, a zebra, and a giraffe, were stolen on March 1st within a 20-minute window in the early evening. That must have been a hell of an operation. Can you imagine a few guys trying to stuff a taxidermy giraffe into a van? Comical. And to what end? The animals have been valued at around 100,000 pounds. That's English money. Remember the Wachowski brothers, the directing team who brought us The Matrix? And, a while back, one of them announced being transgender. Well, now the other one has done it. So, now they go by the Wachowskis. Because who can keep track anymore? And don't get me wrong, good for them. Is there such a thing as trans fatigue? I kind of get the feeling like we saw this before with the overdiagnosing of ADHD in kids. Sure, who am I to question the legitimacy of an individual's sex or gender or feelings about the same? Still, the bombardment with celebrity outings is getting a little tedious. Ammon Bundy and friends, the lowbrow paranoiac toolbags who took over that federal wildlife refuge in Oregon back in January, are facing new charges, including carrying firearms in federal facilities and stealing and damaging government property. Well, good. And in squirrel news, Maria Varicella of Howell, New Jersey, that's in the United States, was about to be stuck with up to $500 in fines over taking in a couple of juvenile squirrels. A citation had been issued in November of last year for illegal animal possession. However, the citation didn't exactly charge her with criminal illegal animal possession. So, even though she had to go to court for this stupid thing, the case was thrown out. Because, squirrels are, dangerous? If I'm not careful, I'll end up talking to myself. Coming up, Machiavellian machinations in Massachusetts. This week in Mundanity, and former First Lady Nancy Reagan is still dead.
Have you been injured in an accident, or can you pretend to have been? If so, we may be entitled to 40% of any settlement you receive. We're the law offices of Angry, Bitter, Vindictive, and Rosenblatt, and we've spent over half a century profiting from the pain and suffering of people who, in some cases, didn't even know they were suffering or in pain. At Angry, Bitter, Vindictive, and Rosenblatt, our attorneys have the skills and experience necessary to turn almost any activity into billable hours. And that means you can pay us more. Angry, Bitter, Vindictive, and Rosenblatt, specializing in personal injury, family law, product liability claims, and almost any other area where emotion weighs more than evidence. Angry, Bitter, Vindictive, and Rosenblatt, getting richer off your mild discomfort since 1955.
Whole Foods Market. As the 2016 political season moves forward, the weirdness is getting more subtle and refined. Bernie Sanders takes Michigan. It's as if Michael Moore is the only registered Democrat in the state. Marco Rubio held a rally in his home state of Florida and drew almost no one. Ernie Bach Jr., the car dealer guy from Massachusetts, has thrown his support behind Donald Trump because it's 2 a.m. in a bar and you have to go home with someone. Obviously. Incidentally, I'm going to get right on with that buying a car from Mr. Bach. No. And Scottish musician Liam O'Hare discovered a slice of ham which bore a striking resemblance to Donald Trump. O'Hare said, "I don't like Trump at all, or anything that he stands for. I think he's an idiot." Unfortunately, O'Hare's completely rational attitude will not get the play it needs on this side of the pond. You would think that, with all its extraordinary claims, religion, as believed by billions of people the world over, has somehow become positively boring. Think about it. The big religions, the ones that somehow manage to influence public policy across countries around the world, claim some wild and crazy things. Invisible, immortal people. Undetectable yet coherent energy fields that interact with matter only when it's convenient for the story. I mean, seriously? And thanks to how matter-of-factly we take these wild propositions, some people actually take the Duggars seriously. Parents can fail to treat their seriously ill children using religion as the excuse, and there is actually debate about whether they should be prosecuted. The kind of exposition and plot on offer in these religions is normally reserved for Michael Bay movies and Tolkien fantasy novels. But no, the admission price is a mere 10% of your gross income, and in exchange you get a show with all the kinds of over-the-top pomp and theatricality, men in dresses, statues of women and sheep, as much gold as the Pope can eat, and the stories. Global floods, the sun stopping in the sky, raining frogs. I mean, this is crazy lunatic stuff. If anybody talked about these things happening in contemporary times, they would almost certainly lose their security clearance and have their children taken away. But because it's posited to have happened a long time ago in a land far, far away, well, it's just the humdrum story of creation and redemption. And it's all real. Right. Nancy Reagan, widow of the 40th President of the United States, died on Sunday at age 94. On Wednesday, the Secret Service escorted her body from the funeral home to the Reagan Presidential Library, where it was buried. Was this really necessary? Here are Pig and Sheep with their thoughts.
Ronald Reagan was the best American president in the whole world. Nancy Reagan was the best first lady of the U.S. in the whole world. They should have had like 4,000 gun salutes at every single traffic light that they ran through. Sure, Nancy Reagan was entitled to lifetime Secret Service protection, and it is conceivable that the way the law is written, that may include funeral processions, but come on. The Reagans left the White House in 1989. That's over 25 years ago. A, who would want to mess with her corpse and why? And B, wouldn't anything the Secret Service would do to protect Nancy Reagan's remains be more horrific than anything anyone would do to her dead body? I do think that it's funny that the right-wingers didn't complain one bit about the pointless expense of having Secret Service escort her funeral procession.
Well, that's what Pig and Sheep think. What are your thoughts? Email them to ovcomments@newsundies.com. What does God need with a starship? Still to come, fighting over pizza, and for those about to rock, we can't hear you.
It can be hard to think rationally when a loved one passes away. This can be especially true in the event of untimely death or when religious or cultural traditions demand quick interment of remains. Blue and Flatley Funeral Homes are here to ensure your needs are served in the most efficient and profitable way possible. At Blue and Flatley Funeral Homes, your money is very important to us, and we want to make sure we do everything you can afford to put your mind at ease. Blue and Flatley, profiting from the misery of others since 1883.
Oh, the Dalai Lama. And now here's Moose Weintraub with a Sports Half Minute.
Weintraub Sports Half Minute. It's a whole half minute of sports. 30 seconds of sports. Who's Weintraub Sports Half Minute?
This is your Sports Half Minute. I'm Moose Weintraub. The wife of Brock Osweiler got in a scuffle outside a pizza restaurant. Yeah, this matters. I went to journalism school.
Weintraub Sports Half Minute.
Thanks, Moose. Always a great report from Moose. And now this week's Dear Superman.
Dear Superman, what's with the curl? I mean, do you do that with your hair? Or does it naturally do that on its own? Sincerely, name withheld.
From the Guns Are Perfectly Safe department, the ironically named Jamie Gilt of Jacksonville, Florida, was shot in the back by her 4-year-old son. Gilt, who appears to be a master of unintentional irony, is a strong supporter of Second Amendment rights and operated a Facebook page titled Jamie Gilt for Gun Sense. The night before she was shot by her 4-year-old, she bragged on Facebook that her son gets jacked up when he gets to target shoot with the .22. Gilt was driving her crew cab truck pulling a horse trailer when her son got a hold of the .45, somehow, and shot her in the back through the seat. The bullet apparently passed right through her abdomen, and she is expected to recover. Interestingly, Gilt's Twitter and Facebook accounts don't seem to have much to say about this. Change of heart? And finally, and I do mean finally, we all saw this coming, didn't we? Brian Johnson, the 68-year-old lead singer of AC/DC, has been told by his doctor that he needs to stop touring immediately or he'll go permanently and totally deaf. The band, of course, was in the throes of a tour when this news came. The band will be rescheduling the remaining 10 dates of their current U.S. tour with someone else on lead vocals. The thing that blows my mind about this is that he's been singing in that trademark style of his for close to 40 years, and it's his hearing that's going. I just don't get it. Well, that's all for this edition of NewsUndies. If you see news that shouldn't be news, you can submit your story tips online at newsundies.com or on Twitter with the hashtag NUSTip. NewsUndies is a weekly show. We'll be back on Friday, March 18th with fresh undies. If you like this video, please like this video. If you like the show, please spread the word. Got a question, comment, or suggestion? Leave it in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe to us on YouTube, circle us on Google+, like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, ignore us on MySpace. Tell your friends, and buy NewsUndies Kitsch at newsundies.com. Thanks for watching. For all of us here at NewsUndies, until next time, I'm Paul Torville. After that, I might be visiting the Ronald Reagan Presidential Library for free jelly beans. I don't think they actually give out free jelly beans there. Extra super special thanks to story tippers Kitten and Jeff, the God of Biscuits. Also, happy birthday, Zencat. Woohoo! Yeah!
I just want to tell you good luck. We're all counting on you.